He realizes he does me real. And there is a question that is affecting all this. But if you can affect someone's placebo effect by giving them a drug, well, that means you're working on something real. And so you take regressiolamine and placebos that are driven by these control chemicals, you put them all together and it gets really messy. Like, where's the active drug being taken? And you're absolutely right. And one of my favorite people I talked to was actually a pain specialist at Stanford, Sean Mackey, who he's such a big deal. He's this famous guy who was able to be honest with me. He was like, look, I'm lucky if I can help 30% of my patients. If I'm a baseball player, I'm making millions. But as a doctor, that's not great. And he's looking for it. And he actually tells people to go back to church. So he's like, you want Catholic? Is that going to Catholic? To church? Come to church. It's not because he's God's going to heal you, but he thinks that you might be in maybe a place where you're ready to find some calm, find some, accept some healing, which some of the treatments are going to be more effective on you if you're like getting back in touch with a place where you felt secure. Because he's running out of options. Like, he's losing the battle against pain. If you look at the opioid crisis, we are certainly losing the battle against chronic pain. That's why we have the opioid crisis to some extent. People start trying to get rid of the pain. So this is a huge problem he's had. And yeah, lower back pain, when you start looking at serious versus sort of like mild lower back, that's when the numbers start to change a little bit. You do see a lot of people with fibromyalgia, so leaving it alone is not the best thing. What is the best thing? It's not clear. Anyway, my story was I really thinking about this guy. So he's in his burn unit, and he's got this guy who's he's like, having he had like full body burns. Just imagine the worst thing you can imagine. This woman who worked in the unit told me that like she's had several babies, and like and worked in long enough to know that like birth pain is nothing compared to large body pain. Like the worst pain imaginable, like the whole body is just incredible pain, and it's so bad they couldn't clean out the wounds. So they couldn't get a chance like each woman to touch it. There's some people who just don't respond like morphine and things. No drug works on everybody, and even the opioids, they don't work on everybody. Just cancer wasn't responding to anything. He was just hey. So this hypnotist comes over and he's like, okay, what is hypnotism? And he's like, I'm not hypnotizable, but yeah, go ahead. You'll never work on me. I'm too sharp. My mind's too sharp. Sharp as your mind doesn't mean you're hypnotizable. You are, in fact, sharp you are. Maybe a little bit more hypnotizable you should be. And he's like, yeah, go ahead and try. I said, okay, I want you to relax. He does everything relaxing. I'm not relaxing. Just okay. I want you to get tense. It's like, no, I'm gonna get relaxed. So finally, it gets this guy relaxed. Turns out he is hypnotizable. He goes under, and he gets this guy to the point where they roll over myself footage of this, and they're scrubbing out his wounds, and he's awake. He's looking around. He feels nothing. And watch that. You can see little white marks like on the nerves. He's just like they're scrubbing out, and you're just, it's horrible. And my point in this is, we don't exactly know what's happening. Like, if David Patterson can go the next day to someone else in the same situation and have no luck. But my point is, wouldn't you like to know what's going on? Like, shouldn't someone be working on this? And this is something that we spend money on to figure out what's going on. And it's starting to turn. People are trying to see, people who understand NIH are trying to see this is something worth looking at. But when you can have that dramatic of a response in one person, let's figure out what's going on there, because it seems like it's a useful thing. And I'm very impressed by people who are serious about this. Which also talks to stage performers who do stage hypnosis. Most of that is just being able to spot the right person. Find someone who's going to be hypnotizable, get them up there, and get a group, figure out what that group is going to be. And then also, if you guys watch stage hypnosis, find the one who's going to not be hypnotizable, but will go along with it. That's a huge part of it. It's like, you look at people who like walk up on stage, or walk up and get on stage, like this. Like this, like, okay, that's my person. Because even if I can hypnotize them, they're not going to be like, no, I'm not hypnotized in front of everybody. They're going to go with it. And that's what things you look for. That is now what it does. They're doing hypnosis, which requires buy-in, it requires work from the patient, which, like I said, I'm not yet. Travel all over the world, talk to people at different sacred sites, and about how, we all have this interesting, very personal relationship with belief and with how belief affects. This is St. Catherine. She, as you know, she is the head, is mummified and rather than have healing. If you ever get touch her, if you ever hit her finger. I like that when she was an amazing, very clever woman who basically said she wanted to be a nun. She wanted to be put in the church. She said, last night Jesus came to me and marry me. Where's your ring? He cut off his foreskin, put it on my finger. What is it? It's invisible. And people, she had a huge following. She was a really powerful woman. She had to talk to the Pope about theology. She's a very smart woman, very intelligent. Clearly should have been in leadership to begin with, and found her way there. When she died, the people of Turin wanted her head back, so they pulled her off her body. They did not cut it. It was very important that you do not touch blade to her head. And they killed it, turned it into a bunch of flowers, or they stuck it past the guns, and then turned back into her head. And people go and get healed from it. And I thought it was really cool because it's a head. And that's awesome. This is one of my favorite photos that the photographer took. And this is, like I said, I grew up in Christian Science, and a lot of crazy stuff happened in Christian Science, and you're not really, think about it, like how interesting, how bizarre some things you say can be. And I just, this really resonates with me. This is a ceremony where someone's trying to get his soul to come back into his body. And so they're killing the pig, and they're burning all this stuff. And I just love her, because she's just like, whatever. And they're I'm going to play some Candy Crush. Rainbow's all done. And everyone else is like, oh my God, it's crazy, it's so cool. And she's just like, and I remember growing up, and we had testimony meetings, we would have feelings, and we were like, I can see, and I can see, and I'd be like, like this is in these communities. And so, it's just like, we're all the same. I just love her. She's just like, whatever. But this is a very personal part of who we are, and this is something that, frankly, if you use, if you're involved in placebos, you see how placebos are used in the world. I think modern doctors and we all could use, could learn a lot. We can learn a lot from the way it's done. So, last point, none of us are good at this. None of us are too clever for placebos. None of us can outthink, placebos. Most of us can't outthink hypnosis. It's just who we are. So, might as well embrace it. And I want to thank Erica Larson and National Geographic and Killers for sending crisis reporting. Let me put this in the episode first. I think that this might be a crisis of its own. And this is honestly about a very sacred ancient church. It's talking about So thank you very, very much. Sorry for again. So, yes.
How does this work for possibilities that you want to know for?
Well, it's an addiction thing. I would say at best it's mixed. The studies that have been done, I would like to see double the number of studies that have been done. But at this point, I'd say if it works for you, go for it, but it's not the strongest hypnosis research I've ever seen. But it works. People swear by it, so yeah.
When talking to the shaman, obviously they use the word placebo effect, but were there shamans that were completely understandable that you might have to put on this ritual because this is what people expect and it makes them feel better, things like this? In other words, they acknowledge that what they were having was a placebo effect.
Most of them. Just ballpark at 8%. Yeah, I mean, you talk about belief. You know, you talk to a shaman, you talk to someone about these things. You don't talk about like placebos or BS or anything like that. Because it's not BS. We're talking about real effects. You talk about belief. You know, what role does belief play? Like, what if someone's not in the mood, like not able to embrace your magic? Like, what if they're not ready for it? Like, is your magic going to be powerful? And they say, well, no, of course you have to be in the belief space. Belief is everything. It's not saying things like that. I think most shamans are pretty. And a few of them, thank you. Thank you. A few of them will just, you know, you can tell that, you know, once you start talking, they're like trying to make people feel better here. And the good ones will say, look, and there are programs like with the Laotian folks in California, like to help shamans recognize things that are placebo prone and send them to doctors. And then in return, the hospital that's there is allowing shamans to go in the hospital and do their ceremonies for stuff that maybe isn't the greatest for doctors to do. I mean, doctors aren't great at chronic pain. They're just not. And so there's a lot of potential give and take, especially when you have a cultural tie. It's really important there. But yeah, good shamans will say, like, look, my magic's not going to work on this. You should go. This stuff is really new, and frankly, it's only been the last 10 years when people are really putting money towards it. So, and it's only been able to see like brain imaging that people don't get like scoffed at for studying and stuff. So no, so far I haven't seen any pain that seemed. I mean, because acute pain you can definitely like cause in a lab. That's something we know most about because you can do it in a lab, put someone in pain, take them out of pain. You can't put people in depression. Read the paper these days, and you can do it. But so pain's a thing. Acute pain, like acute small pain is the thing we're about. Chronic pain is a nightmare, or like neuralgia or fibromyalgia. These things are really hard. We don't know what they are. They usually, whether or not they're happening in the limb or in the brain is, usually doctors are using, something that's focused on the limb. Like, these are questions that the doctors are right now trying to really hone down, let alone trying to put a placebo effect into that. And the placebo effect moves fast, and it's your sympathetic nervous system, so it's like, it's able to be anywhere it wants to be. Your body's really good at doing this. The last problem is not everyone has the same response. So this is a big question, is less out of different kinds of pain, but different kinds of people. Are there different genetic predispositions? And there are a number of genes that have been linked to placebos, different kinds of placebos, stomach pain. The last one, irritable bowel syndrome. That's the one I couldn't come up with. Irritable bowel syndrome is a great placebo one. I'm sorry, I couldn't tell the people. Are there different people who have different responses because of something in their background or their genetics? Whether they make it that way, or they're born that way, these are great. And there's the really routine common genes, one of the ones that's been studied. And I think it's really interesting. There's a bunch of them. There's probably going to be 30 of them now. And the doctor I talked to, there's probably be 100 by the time they're done, but no more than that, probably. And it's terms of genes that are involved in placebos.
A few years ago, we used to hear about the Chinese doing major surgery under acupuncture.
Yes.
And as you brought up hypnotism with this guy who was burned, I wonder if there was some component of hypnotism in there. And what's happened with all that? We don't hear about it anymore.
That's because it was a scam. That it wasn't real. Yeah. The famous Chinese acupuncture story was not real. That was a well-conceived acceptance. It was in the 70s. I forget what it was, but there was a lawmaker who went there and saw it. It was a hoax. The person was, I believe, under general anesthetic, and they had the acupuncture with them as well. I think
one case. What were they?
No, they did. There were a couple others, but none of them. They weren't real. That is not a thing. So,
so talking about the hypnotist and the fiction, that was real.
Hypnotists, before they were anesthetic, there were cases of we call it when you take someone's leg, you're doing meditation under hypnosis. Yeah. The problem is you have to be hypnotizable. Hypnotizability seems to be constant throughout your life, so you have to be lucky enough to be hypnotizable for that to work. So you can't go on a battlefield and but there have been a lot of they used to do they did cauterized hemorrhoids under hypnosis. They did amputations under hypnosis. They did a bunch of different really painful things under hypnosis back in the 1800s. When they came up with anesthesiology, they didn't need to anymore. But yeah, Mesmer. Well, it's actually now Mesmer. He was a great character. I love Mesmer. That was mine.
Thank you.
Medicine, and what is the distinction between all of these different topics? So, personalized or precision
precision medicine really refer to the same thing. It's just people's individual preference over whether they would rather talk about it being personalized or precision. Both of them are really talking about using medicine tailored to an individual and a person that they're going to see in the clinic. Now, this isn't really new or novel. That's the way that medicine has been practiced always. And medicine really is about treating an individual rather than something like public health, which is about treating populations. But personalized medicine starts really trying to focus this in on giving more information about the patient that's in front of you and trying to use that to tailor the care and therapy. And you'll often hear three specific areas talked about when people mention personalized or precision medicine. The first of these is really integrating lifestyle or behavioral choices. So these are things that someone has control over. You can decide how much are you going to exercise, what are the foods that you're going to eat, are you going to smoke or not. Those are all things that you're choosing about your lifestyle. They also typically talk about including information about your genes, so your genetic information and how that might influence your individual risk of getting a disease, or potentially how that information might help you with responding to a specific treatment. So could we pick a specific intervention for you that's based on your individual genomic profile? And then the third item is really the environment. So this is all the things that are happening then outside you. So where do you live? What is the environment that you're exposed to on a daily basis? And trying to incorporate all of these different items into an individual's care is what characterizes this idea of personalized or precision medicine. Genomic medicine is then a specific type of precision or personalized medicine, where you're talking about using that genetic genomic information in care. So when people talk about genomic medicine, it really could be a type of personalized or precision medicine, but they're typically then focusing on the genomic aspects of the care and decision-making process. This also is not something that is new to medicine. Doctors have been using genomic information in care for many years. We're just used to talking about things like family history. So when you go to your doctor, one of the things they typically ask you is, does your family have a history of cancer or cardiac disease? Have you had heart attacks in your family? That is a form of genomic medicine. They're getting information about your family and whether or not you are potentially at an increased risk of developing any of those conditions based on the fact that you might have inherited genes from your parents that put you at increased risk of having that condition like cancer. So this really is, once again, building off of something that's already being done in medicine today, but trying to do it in a little bit more specific or detailed manner. There are lots of different technologies that can potentially then be used in genomic medicine, everywhere from family history through doing tests for individual genes to doing biochemical assays where they're trying to see the actual genetic effects, are you actually seeing the outcomes from having a variant, to doing sequencing to try and map the DNA in your genome. And what I'm going to focus on today is talking about sequencing and some of the different ways that it's being used in genomic medicine. So my next section is just to talk a little bit about what is genomic sequencing. So DNA sequencing basically gives us the order of the bases that make up our DNA. And so there are 4 different bases that code all of our DNA, A, C's, G's, and T's. They pair together so that A's always go with T's and C's always go with G's. And these base pairs then can get read across the DNA molecule. And what sequencers are doing is reading that code in lots of different ways. And basically all of the advances that have been made in sequencing technology are trying to find ways to be able to read these bases more accurately, quicker, and in ways that require smaller amounts of samples for a lower cost price. And so we've gone from the Human Genome Project, which mapped the first human genome back in 2003 and cost billions of dollars, to today you can get a genome sequence around the order of about $1,000. So the cost of this has come down dramatically. And what we do with that sequence information is try and determine which parts of your code have genes, and sometimes also looking for the regulatory instructions that tell those genes then to turn on or off, because when you have changes in these regions, it can then potentially lead to disease phenotypes. And one of the things that I wanted to point out here, because it matters a little bit for some of the technology, is that within each of these genes, there are basically 2 different kinds of code. We talk about these as being introns or exons. The introns are basically code that gets cut out, and the exons are the part that is actually coding what's going to end up making the proteins, which are what control the different functions in your body. So that's the part that's going to actually get translated into a product. And that's important because there are 2 main types of sequencing that get talked about a lot today in the news. One of these is genome sequencing. And in genome sequencing, you're looking at the entire genome, the whole pie, everything that you can find, which is over 3 billion base pairs in humans. So it's a lot of data and information. We still can't get all of it. So even when people talk about whole genome sequencing, we really aren't getting every single one of those base pairs, because every technology that gets used has some things that they miss. There's always going to be some amount of error in the reads, and then there's always some technologies have preferences for things that they read better than others. So there's always going to be some segments that they just have a harder time being able to get to. So genome sequencing gets us most of that whole pie. Exome sequencing, on the other hand, selectively picks out those exons, those coding regions of the genome. By doing that, you can sequence less of the actual base pairs, so you're able to then get more coverage of each of those individual reads. And this allows it to be a little bit cheaper than doing genome sequencing. And this picks out about 1% of those 3 billion base pairs is what's going to be making up those exons, or those coding regions. And once again, this is one of the places where it's about 1% of the small slice of the pie, but it also is going to be spread over the entire genome that you're actually picking those out. So once we have the sequence, we need to know what makes potentially these changes or variations that are going to lead to disease. And one of the most common types of changes that gets looked for are the single nucleotide polymorphisms, or SNPs. And basically what these are just a change in a single one of those base pair codes. And so in this example, you can see there's data from 4 different individuals, and in that yellow region, you can see that sometimes people have that TA, sometimes they have the CG. Versus in all the regions before that, the code is always the same between individuals. So that just lets you then find regions that are different between individuals. And there are also other types of genetic variation that you can pick up by sequencing. You can find insertions, which is basically when you put in a single base or sometimes more, so you're adding in a section of code. You can get deletions where you're taking out a small region of code or more than one base. And another one that gets talked about a lot is an user copy number variation. So this is where you have a segment of your DNA that gets replicated a certain number of times, and different individuals have different numbers of copies. So in this example, some individuals have 3 copies, some people have different variations in copies, 5 and 3 or 3 and 4. So the number of those copies changes, and this can also play into some disease phenotypes. So once we have these different variants, the idea behind genomic medicine is that if you have a group of different people, that they're going to have some difference in the genetic variants that they exhibit, and that if you knew what that information was, you might be able to pick different treatments for them. And that's the general idea behind how genomic medicine typically gets played in public advertising, or if a medical center is talking about how they want to be able to use genomic medicine for clinical care. So now that we've talked a little bit about what genomic medicine is, I want to give a couple of examples about what we can do with sequencing today. So 3 areas where genomic medicine gets used today are within diagnosis, screening, and therapy. Starting off with diagnosis. One of the main areas where sequencing has been implemented is with rare diseases. And in the United States, we have an official definition that rare diseases are conditions where there's less than 1 in 200,000 people in the United States that has that condition. And that makes them very rare, and therefore difficult for a doctor to be able to diagnose when they have one of these individuals come into their clinic. Because these are the kinds of people that you're not going to be seeing every day. They're going to be presenting with different kinds of signs and symptoms, and it can be very difficult with some of these rare diseases to be able to determine which of the over 7,000 different conditions that we already know exist an individual might have. So lots of options and limited amounts of data that a clinician is going to have initially. So based on that, it can be difficult for rare disease patients to be able to get a diagnosis. And a survey that was done recently showed that these individuals are typically going more than 7 years before they're able to reach a diagnosis in the United States. And typically, in order to get to the point of that diagnosis, they've gone to 8 different doctors before they get to the point of someone being able to tell them what it is that they have. And sometimes there's even been a couple of other diagnoses that they got along the way that were misdiagnoses. So either someone thought they had something and then they got another test and it turns out that wasn't what they had, or sometimes these individuals with really rare conditions will get labeled with a diagnosis even if the clinician knows that it's wrong, because they need to call them something in order to be able to get them a treatment.
It's really nice to be here today, and I'm glad that Scott talked a little bit about me being a public affairs professional. And I should say at the outset that public affairs, certainly in my mind, is distinct from public relations. And so I'm not a spinmeister, I'm not an apologist for the agency that I represent. And in my mind, I have a fundamental duty to be as transparent as possible about the agency that I represent. And so, to that extent, what I'd like to talk about today is a little bit of the history of DARPA as an agency, which hopefully some of you are familiar with, but I'll go give you kind of a broad background about it. Talk about some of our current programs and also some of the myths that still abound about the agency, because there's some funny ones out there. If any of you spend some time on Twitter or on Facebook and you just do a simple search on you can shake your head in the back, no, you don't spend time on that stuff. I would discourage it, because some of the things that you see on those channels, are not well founded in either reason or in evidence, and that's what we're all about your way. And I would also, the idea of speaking to the skeptics, and one of the things I should point out before I begin this presentation is I'm not a scientist, I do not have scientific training. I have a bachelor's of science, but uniquely enough, it's a bachelor's of science in rhetoric. And my master's degree is that was always funny to my father, who was a psychology professor. He said you have a BS in rhetoric and an MA in rhetoric, right? Now you need a JD, right? Which is a little hard to find with an MA in rhetoric. But that tradition, I think, is very much in line with what the mission of the agency is here for INCAS, and that is to respect both sides to an issue, to look for reason, to look for evidence, and to weigh both of those, ideally arrive at what should be the best solution or the best conclusion. So it's with that background that I reached today. I'm very excited about this talk. So really quickly, DARPA was founded, and hopefully everybody recognizes this as a Sputnik. Sputnik Bill McCain, 62 years ago technically, but DARPA actually celebrated its 61st birthday on February 7th. So we were stood up by Eisenhower in the wake of Sputnik, because even though I think at the governmental level we well appreciated that satellites were developed by the Russians, we knew that we were very close in terms of the race to getting something out of orbit. But to the great American populace, there was very little appreciation that the Russians would be so close to us technologically. And Eisenhower, after Sputnik went up, said, I vow never again to have this country be in a position where we are behind technologically one of our peers. That was the reason for the agency. And the unique thing about DARPA that I kind of love, especially today, is the government's very bureaucratic, is that the agency was put together with a page and a half minimum. The original charter for the agency was very short and very succinct. And so the mission has stayed the same for the 61 years that we've been working, and that is to make pivotal early investments in technology that ideally deliver breakthroughs in national security capabilities. So we take that national security mission very broadly, and we interpret that very broadly. A lot of what we do finds application beyond the military, obviously, to the commercial sector. I'll talk a little bit about some of those examples here, but this is a reason for being. Some of you probably know that DARPA really had its infancy was very closely tied to that of NASA. Two of the big programs that we worked on were actually the Centaur and the Saturn V rocket. The Saturn V rocket, we weren't responsible for creating the entire thing, but we worked on clustering the engines together so that it had the appropriate amount of thrust to get out of the atmosphere. And the other portion of it for the Centaur rocket was the liquid oxygen and also the liquid hydrogen mix. That also gave us the ability to reach geostationary orbit, and those technologies are still being used today. This is it's pretty cool. We actually don't have a very good graphic of this. Ivan Amato is sitting right here in the midst of us. Ivan can wave. ran for a few years, and he's shaking his head like, no, that's not me. But I haven't worked at the agency as well, and he knows just as well as I do that even though something as pivotal as this, we don't have a great drawing of, which is really unfortunate. So what you're seeing here are the first 4 nodes of what was the ARPANET, and the ARPANET was the precursor to the Internet. This is one of the great myths about the agency is that, you see this repeated constantly in popular press, is that we invented the Internet. You can make the argument that we had a very heavy hand in promoting the early part of the